that separates them. Nighthaven is going to be a fun one, though. It is where we kick things off. Ollie, I don't know if you've had the pleasure of casting Nighthaven. I don't think you have.
I haven't had the pleasure yet.
I did with Rob on NA for, I think it was the Sonics M80 game, and that was a really good game. So I think, you know, obviously I think for EU, it hasn't been taken to as much as what I think NA certainly did. But I feel it's a map that the majority of, I think every player likes this map, and I'm sure every player would have practiced this map. So to see them here today where, as we know, all chips are on the board, you need to put everything you have to make it through this bracket, it's a good time to pull it out.
Absolutely. Great to see a map like Nighthaven being used in such a crucial game as well. Obviously a new map to the pool this stage, and a map that I think when it first came out, there was, as there is with all new maps, a little bit of a mixed reception, but very quickly it became a map that I enjoyed playing, and I know that a lot of other people enjoyed playing. And if the casuals, as we like to put it, demo enjoy playing it, then usually the pros are going to enjoy it as well. And I think the fact that we're now seeing it in competitive play is just going to bring it to that next level. So really looking forward actually to getting stuck into a bit of Nighthaven. I've watched a couple of games on this map as well. I know that it was a popular one over in Brazil as well, Demo. I know that's somewhere that you spent a bit of time this stage.
I mean, we've done two play days, Ollie. That's all we've really done for Brazil. But yeah, it's getting out there, and it's good to see both of these sides taking this map that they haven't played yet, and seeing how well they can really do in the thick of it. What we usually find for Nighthaven is all of the bomb sites will get played, maybe bar kitchen. I think you need to have a certain mentality to defend that kitchen because it is very heavy. You need to play with a roam game quite a lot. But you're looking at your top floor, you're looking at your basement, pretty generic what we see with most maps. Those are like the two most common ones. This top floor, if Mira's up, helps a lot, because you'll see Mira window to be placed in the heart of the bomb site, looking in towards this room that Yunka's in right now, in towards Connector, and just having those extra mirror windows gives you not only just a little bit of information to see where teams are going to be pushing from, but they're in very strong positions, which can be difficult to deal with. Yes, I know both of them can be naded from below, but this is a big map to clear, Ollie, and sometimes teams don't really have the manpower or the resources to go for a full roam clear downstairs to get your naders in, because it is so easy for roamers to get around this map. There's 3 different sets of staircases that loop all over the map.
It's a little bit roomy as well in some instances. It reminds me not quite of Consulate in the way that Consulate has a lot of rooms, but there are a lot of different nooks and crannies that you've got to clear out if you are going to be going for that sort of an extension. Initially, we're going to see Maverick used there by Falls to just start to open up and threaten onto that main breach. That job has now been done, and we'll be waiting for probably Savage to come along on the sledge and get that open, or alternatively, we could, of course, use a Flores drone, a little bit of a safer option there that Uport is going to deploy. Still a little bit of reinforcement going on in and around the site, just as the defenders figure out just exactly which direction this push is going to be coming from.
Yeah, pretty common. You'll see that teams will set up the layers and just slowly move back as the hard breach gets brought in. There's a fair amount of hard breaching that you do need to do. We see a lot of teams go for the Ace and Thermite combo. Seeker have went a little bit different. They've brought the Ace, but they've also went with the Maverick just to nullify any form of bandit tricking. Seeker are picking up a few kills here and there, Ollie, and now they're in a very commanding lead. We're still half the round to go. They've got control, obviously, of that main breach towards Garage, so nobody can play in towards top rafters. And the main thing for them is Seeker are in a good position to now breach that wall that leads into the actual bomb site, in towards Pillar. And they have a good chunk of time. They have plenty of utility as well. Look at all the flashbangs and grenades they still have left. This is not looking good for ITB.
Not at all. We can see the bandit batteries removed there. Kendra about to come under quite a bit of pressure as Kanto, he's going to enter on in and see if he can get a C4 toss out, but I think that was shot out mid-air. Fouls just dealing with that as it comes through. Kendra
gets the Kiba.
Loses the Kiba barricade that he was so hoping to keep control of, and actually misses out by Trick. That's a little bit gutting there. He's got to win this engagement, but Grubby picks up a second. Miracle doubling down as well. Two kills apiece for each of those two. It's all now down to Noah. He's just going to miss his shots there onto Savage. It secures Secret a flawless first round.
Surgical from Secret. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. See the cameras down there, all. It's just the one big cam for the Brazilian/Portuguese players. They're obviously in their little team house. And I think for Secret, getting off to a good start is so important for their, I think, momentum, Ollie. And the reason why I talk about momentum is we've seen this side only a few months ago also go through a qualifier for a big major tournament, that being SI. And we've seen Secret sweep that with ease.
That was a heck of a weekend, wasn't it?
That was a big life weekend from Secret. It was the best Siege I think we've ever seen them play.
Was that the weekend that Groovy just popped off?
That was whenever he's just doing his thing.
That was his. This was where the what was it? The Trident. You were talking
the Trident.
About
I was trying to get more of the Polish players into professional Siege. Just trying to help them out there.
You were talking about the 3 prongs of the Trident. Secret of that. The thing is, they had that beautiful underdog story, didn't they? Going into Copenhagen, and it was every single time that you thought, surely this is like they've had a good run, but surely it's the end of the road. They just get a little bit further, you know. And it's great to see. I always put Secret down as one of those real true underdog teams, and with the talent that's on the roster now as well, you know, I'm always going to be biased toward a couple of Brazilian players.
I mean, you love Twister, he's your mate.
I mean, Twister's a good pal.
You've got his jersey, don't you?
Miracle got Twister's jersey.
There you go. You shouldn't be on this cast. I'm sorry. This is breaching all sorts of regulations.
Well, to be fair, if you can cast a G2 game, I can certainly cast a couple of Brazilian
the difference,
players.
You haven't suffered with Twister. I've suffered with G2. I deserve that right.
Round number 2 begins, and we're going to be entering in through. And, oh, what a shot from Azza! I wasn't sure if he was going to get that great trade coming back out from Miracle, but nice first pick there from Azza on the Vigil. Wasted about a minute. Not done too much. He's got rid of a hard breacher, so you could credit him with that. They're only going to be left with tin openers now in the back pocket of Upor.
The thing is, though, for this site particularly, you're not really worried about, you know, having the ace, or if you know teams are going to be going for the heavy roam, they'll leave the hatches open for you to begin with. And sure, main breaches may be an issue for them in the later stages, but what we've kind of seen over the past is teams just play very heavy with the vertical action and just walk down staircases and take the gunfights, but the roam game is standing ever so strong. Kanto appeared, got one. Miracle is there with the trade, and it is surprising to see Secret struggle with a roam game, considering that they have brought the Jackal in to try and assist with that. Miracle, free in the round. Down goes Kanto. Now it ends up in a 2 versus 2. You could fancy the defense here, but there is a lot of different angles that they need to be worried about, especially from that vertical gameplay. With Buck still being alive, it will cause them issues. Having those 2 smokes in the pocket of Miracle, I think, will have a good impact. Whenever it is quite an open bomb site to attack into, and you can't really cover every angle, being able to smoke off a doorway or a crossfire could be very helpful for them. Look at the Jackal Paint plus Buck combination. Noah needs to get out of there very quickly. 30 seconds to go. This is going to be a close one. I'm excited to see how this 2v2 plays out.
Oh. It really is going to largely come down to the time there. Miracle got a glimpse of a second, but no, got taken out by the C4. The drop is going to come, and Noah is waiting to collect. ITB doing a good job of stabilizing there. They got a nice early advantage into the round, but they just lost a couple of men, and coming down into that 2v2, I was really fancying Secret there, especially with the combination that they had. Those Jackal pings, the Buck above, they just didn't quite have the time to pull it off.
No, they didn't. I think Buck probably should have got his shots hit against Noah there in the site. We've seen the active ping. You've seen him clear as day. Noah gets away from that. I think the main issue was Miracle wasn't really in a position to help his teammate because he had to rotate all the way outside to pick up that diffuser. That's always another one is, you know, diffuser getting cold. I see that actually cost teams a lot more these days than maybe what we used to see. Is that a case of support players being a little bit more aggro than what they should be? You could always put into that debate. I mean, we could be here for hours talking about, okay, what should the support actually be doing? Does he play too passive? Does he play too aggressive? All those different, you know, stories you can go into. So it has happened a few times, but I think ITB Oh, go on.
It was the opening kill, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was fouls falling on the opening kill to Az that left the diffuser there. I think there's a good argument to say that you maybe don't even need to worry about the diffuser if you're just going to go for a 2v2 and try and clean up the kills. If you've got a bit of info, they had the Jackal pings. Maybe there's a world where they instead just push the site.
It's just decision making, and it comes down to your IGL. So it just depends what he thinks is best, and you always have to go with that as the team. If Savage, he's the IGL for this side, so if he makes the call to get the diffuser and push for that, then that's what the team's going to do. ITB not looking to go upstairs Ollie, which I would certainly advise. It didn't work out too well for them, so I advise that this is the correct decision going for the storage now. What we see from storage is just a lot of heavy roam game upstairs and then eventually dropping downstairs if needed, but ideally you just want to hold on the top floor for all you can. You'll see a lot of teams just play with the vertical up so nobody can walk into site. It's just very heavy off-site play. You don't need to worry about being in the bomb site. Like, look at all of the different angles that are opened up. Everything is there right now for ITB. So Secret are the team that should just be focusing. If we take above, then that means we get the site because they can't plan it because they've made all the vertical for us.
Cantel playing pretty close to the window. He does have the shotgun in hand, but it's not going to be good enough. Groovy there in position to take him out. Finished off by Miracle. Trade coming back immediately. Azza able to just play in and around the mirror window that he's got set up for himself, but he's one of only 2 left alive now. Him and Kendrew going to try and hold on to what is left in this round. Just under half the round remaining as well. So very quick work from Secret to dismantle this roam. And you can see now they're not even trying to rush this. They've got 2 players on drone, 2 players static and holding. Ruby there on the Iana clone, just trying to gather a little bit of information. Azza will drop off and attempt to C4, but he's going to get taken out from above. That vertical really coming into play there for Upor. Kenny left in the 1 versus 4. Has managed to maneuver himself. Could try and move up these fish stairs, but it isn't going to be. Upor is going to be there and waiting. The amount of players that you've got on drone for Secret, you can only assume that they knew that. They got the yellow ping there at the bottom of the stairs as well. Such great patience from this Secret side. They really know when to turn it on.
Yeah, I like that a lot from Secret, knowing that, hey, if we just get the basics done right, drone out where these players are, and then use that man advantage just to swarm over them, we'll have no issues whatsoever taking control of that site. And, you know, we've seen that top floor get cleared out. I would say that ITB probably swung. You know, I look at Kanto, for example. Does he need to swing that? Sure, I get you're a man down, but do you really need to go for that play? You have mirror windows upstairs still that you can play behind? I mean, even playing up close and personal on the breach is pretty scary. We've talked about shotguns in the current meta with the changes to them. They hit like a truck. So that fear, I think, is always going to be in the back mind of attackers whenever they go for the push. You know that if you don't headshot this guy, all he's going to do is one pump you straight to the chest and you're gone. You know, that's where you're kind of an attacker's mentality. So just having that threat of that shotgun alive, it puts the pressure on. So just to throw yourself out like that, it's not the greatest idea. ITB, obviously, open up the site. We've seen that cost it Azza as he rotated it back downstairs. I actually thought Azza was rotating into good positions, looking to catch them by surprise, swing onto garage door where they knew someone was going to be sniffing to walk into, using that mute jammer so he can't get droned. But that patience from Secret was so well delivered that Azza knew he was beat. He couldn't do anything about that. He knows that, okay, they've took so much time here. They know exactly where I am. I just need to leave. He goes downstairs. Oh, what happens? The vertical you opened up yourself, Azza, comes in to kill you.
Really good pacing so far from Secret. It's nice to see. I think especially after some of the attacking rounds that we saw yesterday, Eminem at G2 not really at too much fault, but it was certainly the case from
the other two. Yeah.
And you know, you were looking at some of those attacking rounds and you're really questioning it. So to see a really nicely paced attacking round where you get an opening kill, you get another, and then all of a sudden everyone's just on drone, and it's like, this is what we want to see. We don't want to see these blind swings and these blind peaks. Savage getting the maximum value out of the shock drone there. Maybe not even done just yet. Fowls is going to try and deal with that now. Of course, on the Maverick, it's going to be a little bit easier. You could still try and use some sort of hard breach to do it, as long as you've got sufficient cover from an impact trick. Azza, he's being pressured a little bit here. He's chosen to blow the Vulcan shield himself just to keep that line from extending much further. He could choose to keep that off also. Kanto in a quite interesting position here, though, Demo.
Yeah, could maybe look to get a C4 kill into Electrical if he can rotate to that. I think ITB are playing it very risky with no denial for utility, and this is where the nades, especially from Grubby, is going to come in pretty strong. Ricochets off the wall. I think it will clear the Kiba barrier, but no one else. There's the C4 that we're waiting for. That's a good rotate from Kanto. I like the patience there. And again, it just opens up and it shows the roam capabilities that you can have. And oh dear! Uh-oh! That's an issue. Azur was in the prime position to swing onto Grubby, who I don't think was going to be ready for it. And then he gets C4'd by his teammate. There you go, Noah.
Not in the script, if you're an ITB fan. But Kendry going to keep battling on regardless. He's able to take out Grubby. Upor getting himself into engagement here. He tags Noah up significantly, but it's a scrappy engagement. How has he kept himself alive for so long? His teammates are doing work in and around him. A Miracle eventually takes him out, but it might be too little too late. Team kill or not. ITB chalk another round up.
Look at the difference in ITB whenever they keep their players alive, where they're not giving away the first pick to Secret. That was much better from them. It was more passive. It was more controlled. I love the addition of Kanto downstairs. I mentioned before that the roam game is difficult to deal with because it's very big map, Nighthaven. There's a lot of different rooms you can wheeze your way into. So having just a roamer downstairs, he's going to go untouched. Nobody's looking for nades from below. So you're always going to get an opportunity for a C4. So I have to credit Kanto with opening it up. Secret then get hit with, the first kill against them. It looked as if they really struggled with, getting that kind of main wall fully open. They got parts of it open, but it wasn't ever fully done. And that's because the impact tracking is also very strong from ITB. I like that technique that they're utilizing also. But that does mean the top floor's locked out. So they're going to have to try and obviously win on a different bomb site. May that have been the storage again or the kitchen. Obviously, yes, I know basement was also there for them. But they want to keep basement probably for round number 6. So they know they have to go here nonetheless. And they have chosen the kitchen. This is the site that we see less out of the other few. And the thing that I think is the issue with kitchen is just being able to walk in simply from lobby and go so minimalistic with the take is so easy. There's a lot of long gunfights that you have to fight through, and I think from an attacker perspective, whenever you have operators like Ossie you could bring into the mix, that's difficult from a defender's perspective. There's the Ossie being brought in. You'll just see Shield just walk in towards lobby, set up the shields, and then they'll just go for an easy plant.
And you can do this with a number of different things. You could do it with a Blitz, you could do it with a Monty, but the Ossa does give you that ability to
Gives you a gun.
Deploy some cover, and you get a decent weapon off the back of it as well. So it can lead to quite an oppressive approach here. Fowls isn't going to waste too much time getting that wall opened, although it will be immediately keyboard off. Secret more than happy to spend those keyboard barriers to limit the exposure there. Noah is going to find himself tucked in. A lot of information available here for Into the Breach as well. They've got a bulletproof. They've got a couple of the yokai drones out there as well. Not looking to pressure too heavily onto this. Noah going to find himself in a bit of an engagement here. Could be potential for a C4 from below, and there it is. Fantastic team play here. You can just see him look to the floor and hit that yellow ping immediately for the C4 to come in from Azur. Can now keep himself safe with the Kiba barrier. And that's opening pick going toward Into the Breach as more players for Secret are going to start to fall.
Noah stuck inside of Methane. He's doing extremely well with those barriers to keep himself alive, and it's just causing a nightmare for Secret. They've lost 2. They don't have a lot else they can really go off. Kendrew appears with a kill and a second for Kendrew. That's a position I haven't really gotten around to talk to. What a finish from Kendrew. What a flurry of kills. This will be a nice shot. Let's see. Oh, yes, it was. This is a position that I didn't really get to talk about. This is something that's pretty new, pretty recent, is teams from that kitchen site, they will have a player on the main stairs with deployable shields set up, not only to watch just somebody walking in lobby, so you can play top and main stairs quite easily with a shield, but also to stop them walking in that top door as well. If you have control of that side of the map, the player, in the instance which was Noah, he is very free just to rotate back in towards meeting. He can try and hold into connector if he needs to. He can do all that impact trick and keeping barriers, everything that we've seen him do. And he was able to do that because he knew he had the coverage of Kendrew behind him. So it's a very strong position to have, and it's something that I'm surprised Secret did not address. ITB have not been interested in taking any form of denial of utility. That top main player should just be naded out straight away. Gone. There's nothing to worry about. There's no Jaeger, there's no Whammies, there's none of that. I'm really shocked that Secret are not clearing out this utility.
Tactical timeout there for Secret. Just trying to stabilize themselves ahead of round number 6. They ideally want to go into this at an equal 3-3 split. Obviously, the last couple of rounds really not going their way, which is a bit of a shame, especially after the composure that they showed in the opening couple. But they certainly know where they're going to be going. Downstairs to tank and assembly. When this map first came out, Demo, what was your call out for A site? Was it tank or was it something else?
Pretty sure we just called it. No, trying to remember what we called it.
Because we had possibly one of the best call outs, and it's actually stuck, and it's a horrendously long word to say. But we had cloning vessel. It was dropped as a panic com.
Well, that's a Union Jack com if I've ever heard one in my life.
It is absolutely stuck ever since. I had to like think for a moment. I was like, yeah, it's tank and it's not cloning vessel. We might be about to see a bit more of a direct approach here. Fowls is going to be rocking the Monty. Plenty of hard breach as well to go at. We've got not only the ace, but Hibana in tow, as well as a Ying. So I'm expecting some fireworks this round.
I like this lineup a lot for basement. I think Monty adds a great deal of information. Whenever you look at this big room that we're dealing with right now, is that breach has been messed up. That is not good if you're a Monty player. He's just looking to walk it. He can't do that now. Look how many different angles there is. There's at least 3 different angles you need to worry about. Your left, your center, and your right side. All gonna cause issues. Yonka on the warden gets absolutely put in the grave by Upor. The plant going down from Fowls. It's so cheeky, but no, it's been stopped from above. Kanto on the vertical. Nobody from Secret has addressed that. The Candelas did not catch him. He was able to stop the plant with about a second to go. That is huge from Kanto.
Noah's going to be upstairs with him here now as well. Secret knowing that they need to address this threat from above because the diffuser is going to be cold in that line of sight. But Kanto, he's not finished there. He picks up his 3rd. He could be on for an ace here. He's certainly in the position for it. Gets a glimpse, puts a bit of a pre-fire out there onto Upor. Groovy getting himself into an engagement elsewhere. We're going to see another kill coming in here, this time for Noah. Kanto is likely going to collect here. Pistol drawn. Take your 4 kills. It's a great strategy, but you've got to have that vert cleared.
It's unredeemable sometimes there for Secret. Just, I want to say that it was certainly a mix of that breach not being opened. Realistically, if you're that Monty, you should just be able to walk in and plant to the corner close right. That should be where you want to get the plant down. It's hidden away. If you can smoke off one of the doorways, you can't really be spotted. You have the coverage, of course, from the players in the breach. We've seen that Warden try and swing, got absolutely melted. But if that breach isn't opened, he can no longer walk in. So he just had to jump in and plant immediately. Just straight away, jumped in, turned around, planted. I don't know if it would have made a big amount of a difference if Kanto's still above. Yeah, it's just they didn't clear the player above. I think that was obviously the big issue for them, for Secret, is you need to have at least one player just lurking so that doesn't happen. I always think a good idea to cause issues with that is send a Ram upstairs by themselves. Ram can then just throw the gadget in through the window. Obviously, it's going to cause a ruckus for anyone holding above because they have to look at the Ram. But then you're also creating more vertical that you could maybe play in a post plant. But also the sound coverage that you get from a Ram above is crucial for that plant going down.
Definitely needs to be a little bit more attention paid to that upstairs player. You can't be allowing one player to come away with 3 kills just on the vert alone. Somebody like Kanto is more than capable. Any of these players are capable of that. especially when they aren't put under any pressure whatsoever. Not really the attacking phase that Secret were after there. They come out at a 2-4 split. It's now into the Breach's turn to switch sides and get themselves on the attack and show us just exactly what they've got. They're going to be rocking quite a similar lineup. They've got that Jackal. They're going to try and use that to assist this roam clear. Very concerned about the Kapkan presence as well. That's obviously been calmed and called out sufficiently, as we can see the drone moving ahead, the shock drone just double checking every which doorway.
This is good. I like this. It's good patience from ITB. They know they don't need to rush things. The kills will come. Down goes Savage. Azar gets the better of him. That's former teammates there, Ollie. People may not know that. They used to team way back in the day. Kanto. More drone information being had, and it's surprising they're getting so much information, Ollie, considering there's not only the mute on the board, but also the Mozzie. They're doubling down on information denial, but ITB are just sucking the soul out of them. They're giving Secret not a shred of anything to go off.
I think it speaks to how big this map is. You know, you can place a couple of mute jammers down, but realistically, there's a lot of area to cover. And when it comes to the Mozzie pests, sure, you can get a couple of those out there and see if you can deny a little bit of ability, but you couple that in with the shock drone, and it does become quite a tricky task. We will see Jonker fall. A late trade, but a trade nonetheless here, keeping things nice and level. Savage, he will be rewarded.
He gets Hazard back.
Unforgivable. It was definitely calmed. We could see the patience that Kanto was moving with in the early part of the round to make sure he didn't hit any of those cap cans. Kanto, he's going to grab one back, though, over onto Yupo. Grubby from the hatch, picks himself one onto Noah. We know the Roni hasn't got the most mag counts, so he has to draw for the pistol to finish the job. Kendrew getting caught out in the Dread Mine, his location now given away. He's going to pop out of smoke and try and give himself a little bit of cover. He's going to need it. 1 versus 3 here as he moves on through into assembly. He's going to have to challenge onto the single doorway. He's known. Not an easy challenge to make, and Foul sees to it. Success for Secret on their first round of the defense.
This game's a pantomime. Ups and downs. You don't know where the tail's going to twist and turn to. It was looking good for ITB. I like the patience. I like the clear out. And then just madness. A Kapkan trap. Azar gets blown up by the player he previously had killed in the same round. Grubby went unchecked. Bear in mind, Ollie, we seen that ITB knew exactly where Grubby was upstairs. Remember the drone from Kanto came in. Why is he not dead to rights? They should just be seeing where he is, get the Jackal in, get him hunted, get him killed. You're left with a 5v3 in sight. Also, another thing that was a bit of a blunder for ITB, the first player to die was Jonker on the ace. Both of these teams really struggling with keeping their hard breachers alive. And it was different this time. I said last time, sure, if you lose a hard breacher, if you know a team's going to go for a heavy roam game, the hatches will probably be opened up for you. That was certainly the case whenever Secret were attacking. It was not the case whenever ITB were attacking. Secret reinforced their hatches. Sure, they went for a roam game, but it wasn't a die-hard roam game. It was just a couple of players loosely scattered around the map.
Hopefully that's not a recurring theme of the day, hard breaches dying first, because that can make for a...
Hatches were shot, you know, even if they killed Grubby.
We'll see how it develops, but both teams have suffered in that stat line. Yeah, I think Tafal's dying on hard breach and it causing a little bit of a problem. Okay, it wasn't the biggest issue, but usually that is the piece of utility you want to keep alive, at least until it is being used. I'm gonna see a side change now. Yupo got himself inside of garage there, just cautious of not only the stairs, but the single doorway that does lead on into that. We're seeing ITB draw for the Monty as well. Both of these two teams really wanting to attempt these sort of direct pocket plays. It's not something that they're trying every single round, but when they feel as though the time is right, yeah, bring the Monty and let's see if we can use it as a bit of a beachhead here.
Twitch today from ITB's been very strong. I think also Secret had a good period with the Twitch. Getting rid of utility in a pretty heavy utility map, Ollie, we've come to learn with how Nighthaven plays out. It is good to see. Oh, this will be a fun one. Grubby versus Azur. Both of them just on the other side of the walls from each other. But who's going to meet who first? Will it be Grubby getting their first shot in? Will it be Azur? And Nate from below, you don't see these all too often. But he has went for it. Oh, he's going to find two for his troubles. Upor tried to come in to help. But he gets taken out himself. Somehow Miracle's crawled away, but never mind. Kendrew finished him off. Kanto's also there with a kill. Grubby, you're too late, my friend. Azur's done the damage. It even takes you with him. 3 in the round. Kendrew on the Monty with the last kill. My word. Kendrew and Azur cleaning things up.
It's a two-man band at this point for ITB, making it look all too easy. We don't always get to see those nades from below. Often there are better ways to use those nades now. Since the damage got reworked slightly, it's always been a case of, is it really worth it? You need a guaranteed kill if you're going to use it, and Azur certainly did just exactly that. Picks himself up, picking her down. The Monty. We didn't even really get to see the full idea with the Monty there. I think obviously it assisted in pushing into site and really starting to, you know, bully these defenders around a little bit, but it was just that vertical play that was the real opener. We were talking yesterday, very similar to the way that G2 will play around what's the catalyst in the round, what area are we going to push, you know, what is our in, what's our point of weakness that we're going to exploit. For ITB in that last round, it was genuinely those nade kills from below. All of a sudden, that just opens everything up. And when you've got a Monty, you can just spring into action. You don't need to be as concerned about just rushing headlong in and taking a bit of space.
It was great decision-making from ITB. They've played off a very strong nade from below, which, as we've seen, caused mayhem. And Kendrew was so quick just to say, hey, they're going to be absolutely over the place trying to figure out how can we get this guy revived safely. I can just walk in as a Monty, call out all the positions, you guys clean up the job. And that's what they did. We head now to our kitchen site. I'll be curious to see how ITB want to assess this. We've seen Amari come in. This ain't an Amari map. There ain't no real strong windows that you can really look at and say, oh yeah, that'll be good. Maybe a hatch, but even then, I'm not too convinced. What's happened here? Kanto's just tried to jump in store. He's tried to take a gunfight against Upor, but he's held his ground. I'm more interested in Azur. What is he doing, Ollie? Where's he headed?
Well, he's got the flump cannon, so you could almost forgive him for picking Amaru just for that.
He's not going to last long.
Well, it's going to take a long-range engagement there against Savage. That's not going to be ideal for the weaponry that he's got. He's going to have to switch over to the sidearm. SMG-11 throws out the stun, looks to go in hot pursuit and will dome Savage. Oh, there it is. Is able to get himself back outside now. A lion scan just to cover him for the time being. A trade, a little bit late, but a trade nonetheless. And with Savage gone, that removes obviously the Oryx. And if Team Secret are trying to read into this Monty pick, which I believe they are, with the lineup that they're bringing the Legion, they're bringing the Oryx, you've lost a little bit of a direct counter there.
Even Fenrir, you can shut down the eyes of the Monty, which is a very strong thing that he has. Azur getting that kill. I don't know how Savage has allowed that. He has had a good game. He's 3 and 7 right now. He needs to be getting those engagements won. But Azur, on the other hand, a great game from all accounts. 9 and 6 is where he stands. Minute to go. They've got control of lobby and they've got control of upstairs. That was the main, well, not fully upstairs, but the bit they need, which is top of lobby. The main issue now for ITB is, can they get rid of the bandits? Can they get rid of the Denial? Question is, it looks as if they do. They have got rid of them. There's no bandit tricking happening. Probably did not want to go for it. Instead, they're going to opt for the impact trick. And they have successfully messed up the breach. Never mind. One does make it through. I thought they were able to get the full set of it, but not going to be the case. A window jump and Yunka has diffuser, Ollie. That's where he's going to try and plant.
A lot of pressure onto Secret now. You can see Files doesn't really know which way to look. He's going to try and keep himself safe, but instead just gets caught out in the smoke. Stun's getting sent out there. Jonker, he's going to be taken down to pretty much 1 HP, but he is in position to try and get this plant down as kills come in, flying left and right. Azur going to try and play close up and personal with this shotgun. Needs to try and take this engagement or at least cover while that plant is confirmed. That's going to go down. Upor Hitting one over onto Noah. Fouls. He's in the hot seat, needs to try and do something, but it's all going to be down to Grubby. He picks up the final 2 kills there. Fouls. There's merely a distraction there in the grand scheme of things. I'm not sure how Grubby's managed to do that one, Demo.
They played it patient. Grubby and Newport working in unison to retake that lobby. They knew there's 2 players inside a kitchen. Fouls kept them guessing. Fouls didn't need to move. A lot of teams forget that whenever that diffuser goes down, round's not over. By no shot does that mean you lose the round instantly. What that does is it gives you an extra 38 seconds to play with in the round. And defenders will let them plant because they're going to prepare for a retake. All the attackers are going to be thinking about is not the case of, oh, let's worry about the post plant. Their main concern is just get the diffuser down. That's all is in their mind. For defenders, they can let the plant happen and focus on what they want to take back from the attackers. In that case, it was lobby. We've seen Newport, we've seen Grubby work in unison. One rotated in through the main quarter, another one in through the site. They knew that no one in kitchen was going to be looking at Grubby walking in through the middle of the site. That wasn't going to happen for them. They were more concerned with fouls, like we mentioned. Once then that player falls at lobby, you've then got those players in kitchen trapped. Fouls make sure they can't jump out the window, and you've got the other 2 pushing in from the site to take the trades and take the gunfights to them. Great retake from Secret. I love the patience that they had. They knew they were going to get that eventually. It just took them a while.
Secret only 1 round shy now. Scoreline sitting at 5-4 in favor of Into the Breach as we move into round number 10 now. Savage going to be rocking the cap can again. It was successful for him in a previous round. And it certainly did something to slow down Into the Breach pushing power. They haven't got the Twitch this time either. Twitch was, of course, going ahead with that shock drone to make sure that the doorways were clear, and if it wasn't, then they could actually do something about it instead of waiting on a comm to make that happen. And for the meantime, we've just got a bit of a stack up here as we're going to look to try and get this breach open. Azza does have the diffuser in hand, but I hope he isn't going to try and send himself straight through that breach. A couple of kills coming in there for fouls. Keeping control and securing that vertical. It's something that Secret failed to do. It looks as though Into the Breach are going to fail to do it as well, as Az is going to get tagged up there from that vert. The only 2 remaining players alive here for the attackers are outside of the main breach. That clear has gone dreadfully, Demo.
It has. Both teams trying to play it very similar, where they want to go direct and then also try and go above, but it hasn't worked for ITB. They've been pushed back. Secret still fighting, still trying to get back into this game, and they look as if they want to try and square it up into 5 rounds each. Both sides very similar. The way they attack, the way to defend, Ollie, there isn't much separating. And that's what we expect by the social vote, was so close, because they are a very evenly matched side. I think we're going to be set for a great series if this is map 1 to go off. If ITB manage to pull this out, I think it'll be the biggest shock of the day, but I really don't see that happening. You don't have the hard breach anymore. Yonkers used all of that, so hatches will remain soft. All you can push down is corridors and stairways, and that's never going to work. You don't even get near the stairways. They don't even let you in there. Savage, a C4 kill. And Azar, he doesn't even pick up an exit. Flawless for Secret. It's a great game. I love this. This is brilliant.
It's really back and forth, isn't it? And I think it's a great map to start things off on as well. Both teams, as you mentioned, have saved this map for just such an occasion. And we're sort of seeing what happens when teams do that. It does tend to become quite a tight game because you're both just reacting in the moment. Neither one really knows what to expect. It isn't a map that's been very fully explored so far. Of course, it's only been out for 1 stage, so everyone's still learning things about it. Time for Into the Breach to take a timeout and listen to Kangaroo. He's getting in the face of somebody there. Or is he looking at something? I thought...
No, that's Leonski.
From Kanto's camera, it looked as though he was really getting in the face of someone. You know, like a football manager would, and like, you need to...
Neil Warnock.
You need to die for the points. That's what it looked like, but it seems like they're just having an intense conversation.
Look at this. It's like Pep and Mikel. That's what it's like. My goodness.
It looks like a nice little boot camp situation they got going on there.
Yeah, they're up north, aren't they? Up around your neck of the woods. Except I think I'm more north than you are.
Yes.
Just more west.
More west. They're probably actually south for you. Southerners.
Are they south for me? Yeah, I mean, I'm online with Scotland, aren't I?
Yeah, because Sheffield's kind of just east for me. It's not. I don't even know if it's
Yeah, it'd be
north.
south
It might
for
be
me
a little
then.
bit north, yeah. Well, time out there for Into the Breach. Good time to take it. Things haven't been going terrible, but they haven't been going great. And I think that's the story for both of these two teams. They've both shown fantastic moments. They've shown really good patience on the attack and the defense. They've shown really good sort of use of tools. You know, we're not seeing the same operators brought every single time. They're really trying to work operators into certain different strats. We've seen a little bit of Monty from both teams. We've seen a little bit of Ying from both teams. It really is going to be a fine margin that determines a winner here on this opening map. Savage looks like he's fancying something here. Impact in hand. We can see, of course, that there's not really anybody home on the other side of that door, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Was looking for the aggressive entry. Nothing comes of it as it stands. Both sides have been pretty tempered on the attacking side. Not looking to get too fast. In goes Azar. He's looking for the same nades below, I assume, Ollie, and he's in the same place he was able to do so much damage from beforehand. I hope Secret are going to maybe send more than just one player down after him, because you can't really let him do the same thing he did last time. But Azar isn't going to do the same thing he did last time. He's more focused on trying to pick apart little bits of utility here and there. Even look at the way that Azar's just face-checking all these angles. It doesn't look as if he would really know if someone was downstairs with him. It does feel just up in the air right now, and up goes the nades. Azar. Oh my goodness. How?
That's concrete, Azar.
No, did you not see that nade? It went up and it landed on the bomb chassis, right beside Miracle, but it didn't kill him.
Well, it didn't look like the floor destroyed either.
No, some of it's concrete, some of it's soft, but he shot open the soft angle that then goes up and over. So you're lobbing it up. And that landed right on top of the bomb chassis, and the fact that Miracle's not died is beyond me.
Would you say it's a miracle?
Oh, we're too early in the day for miracles yet.
Well, maybe we've seen one in round number 11. It's been a slower start to the round. You can see that timeout has certainly worked. We're getting a little bit of Candela action coming in now. Kendrick is getting stunned out there by the Yokai, and he's actually going to have to push out. The power of that Dread Mine, it's really just stunned the push there. And there's a considerable amount of utility that's just sort of gone wasted from the attackers. Noah is looking to challenge on now. We're going to see another Candela cooked and sent in. It's going to be Azar, but a nice play from Miracle hitting the prone shot. It isn't likely going to matter, though, as the kills get cleaned up by Jonker and Kanto, and you can see that's really fired up into the breach. We usually say that a timeout's good for a round, and it worked exactly then.
It was just a full utility dump from ITB. They didn't take a great deal of the map. They took in towards Aquarium side, and they took Garage, and that was it. They had no interest on the other side in towards Connector and dealing with getting the walls opened, and I think that was actually a good play from Secret, realizing that burning through all that utility the team set up on that side of the map is so difficult. And then even once you get through that, then you still have to worry about impact tricking. So why don't we just go direct? Why don't we just bring a Ying? Ying's up. That's a commodity these days. You don't see a lot of Yings because she's always banned away. So ITB playing to the strengths of their bans.
We saw the Ying brought by Secret as well, but it was just in a much less impactful way.
It was done for the rush, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the round that Kanto single-handedly dealt with, which has almost been a little bit of a theme. Kanto's having a very good game at the moment, currently sitting 10-6. Azar 10-8. Some decent numbers being thrown up on the side of Into the Breach. A bit less so on the side of Secret, you could say. No one really standing head and shoulders above anybody else. Upor and Miracle both 8-8, but nobody going positive for the time being. And that really could be the difference maker here as we enter what could be the last round here of Nighthaven. We, of course, do have Consulate coming up, which is Into the Breach's map pick, so you would expect Secret to pull something out of the bag here. You don't really want to be losing your own map choice, especially if you're going to be bringing a newer map in, one that has only been in for a single stage.
It's a good showing. Seeing from both sides still. Secret have a good chance to still pull it into overtime if they can. head over to the kitchen, which we've seen a great number of kitchen being played compared to the storage, which usually isn't the norm. Usually is the other way around. But for certainly EU, the kitchen has worked out pretty well. I think Secret did enjoy the retake abilities that you could have with this site. Fal's not looking to stay in lobby any longer than he needs to. Rotates away and gets that wall reinforced up. Only just the one hard breach, or the two hard breaches actually. Habana sneaks her way in. Doesn't really do much in terms of hatches because there ain't really that much apart from the one hatch in towards Freezer, which you're dropping into a bit of a death drop, if that. So it is really, I think, just to worry about the impact trick, which has been very frequent from both sides. Fals has 2 impacts, of course, that he can utilize whenever parts of that breach does get attempted to be opened up by the ace. But again, for ITB, it's pretty slow. It's just taking what they need, very minimalistic. There goes the impact. Successfully gets the 2 sets of Selmas. But as we know, there's still plenty more hard breach from Azar. He can rotate down now with the banner if he needs to.
Savage going to pick up the opening kill there onto Lion Noah. Felt like he was on that solo roam clear. Didn't really work out. I think certainly since the timeout, Into the Breach have really been taking their time on these attacks, and we haven't seen too much action until this final minute mark. You're going to see utility sent in now as Kendrew hops in on his own. That's the power of the Ying right there. He's got Azza right next to him. They're going to try and get this plant down.
Oh,
Azza
big kill.
is going to be there with the cover. He might be on 1 HP, but he still manages to nail Miracle. The plant has been successful, and Azza's got himself out of dodge. Kendrew, he can look to try and burn a little bit of time here. He's still got so much utility to just throw at this. 1 Candela left in the pocket as well. He's going to send that out as well for good measure. Now challenging onto this single window is a very difficult task. You've got Azra on the upside down repel. This is going to be a tough nut to crack here for the defenders. We're going to see Azra pick 1 kill, Kendrew another. All now down to Savage, and he can't pull it off. Fantastic execute there and post plan from Into the Breach. That does map number 1.
Those two have been ecstatic in this game. Azar, such a great pickup. I think he's so smooth. He gets important kills where you just know that's going to turn the game. That kill onto the Warden was massive for him. Kendrew, I love watching Kendrew because he always dies for the badge. He never holds anything back. And that's what you need whenever push comes to shove and they need to scramble to get that plant.